Yep. Alrighty. Stretch that out. We're back. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the stream. Hope you're having a good day today. All right. Let's go ahead and get started today. So what we're gonna do is, I don't know, we're gonna figure it out. I forgot where I was from last time. Let's figure out where we left off. We worked on this sale. Listing, to know. We worked on the sales router. Get sale ID, create sale. We stopped here. Okay, cool. All right, so we're working on our ability to create a sale on the front end to back end structure. So let's go ahead and run dev here. And then let's open up and fire this guy here. And then let's hit the admin page. There we go. All right, and then let's tighten this up. And yeah, here we go. All right, so here we go. I need to fix this part here, so let's go to the product page really quick. All right. Products page. Let's close all this junk. Product page here. Okay. Cool. So we got the product page again. So we're looking for our section for listings. Here's our button dark for listing here. So we need to provide, we have listing headers passed, and listing headers is an object, which is here, got you. And so we'll say, mark sold. Say mark sold. Okay, that'll fix that. Nice. Let's go ahead and when you mark sold, you're met with this route here for sale, but create listing, we have this route. We have the ability to create listing. Okay. Let's go to our sale. Routes. Okay. So our sales router, to create a sale, right? So to create a sale, what do we want to do? Well, you cannot create a sale if this product already has a sold status. So what we're going to have to do is get, in addition to this sale create, in addition to this, is we're going to have to also get like get status here, right? So some sort of scripter to get status. So we need to query the database for the current, for the most recent, for the most recent history row, and get well, we just need to get the product for that stage history. Actually, right? We just need to get the product.stage history because product has a foreign key mapping to stage history, which is a list of all of its stage history. But we don't have a status on this. We have current stage right here. Okay, so that's exactly what we're going to go for. So query the database, query the product row for the most recent poly for the product history. Stage and evaluate. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do select, or say statement is equal to select. We're going to select product dot where product ID is equal to, and then we're going to import product from our so this is the product stage history. Oh wait, oh, I'm already doing this, so hold on. So I don't need to do this then, I don't think. So statement is select product where product ID is equal to data.product ID, right? We're going to database scalars our statement. Product row. Right, we call product row here. We're gonna say if product, we're gonna match product row dot stage current stage. Hey, what's going on, Tim? For all of these. Okay. So I'm going to go product row dot skew. Oh, so we'll leave it like that. Okay, listing. So if it's in listing status. So you can't do it if it's already sold. So listing status. So in listing status here, is there anything gating us from selling? No. If you're in a listing, you can sell. Okay. So we have the product row here. So what we're going to do is when it's listing, okay, so for a listing status, we can make a sale. So we need to, obviously, there's no checks we need to do. We can just create this sale entry into the database. We need to mark this item's, we need to update this product's status. So we need to create the sale entry, update the product, the parent product status, product stage history, which is a list of all of its stage history, right? The current stage is a product stage enum. Product stage history is a product stage from enum. Product enums here. Product stage. Product current status. So to update the product object, we just need to update, okay, to product.stage.event.sold, okay. And then create the product stage entry for this. The product stage entry. Product stage history, right? We have a stage, which we give it. I'm going to ask a question here real quick. For my product stage history, I'm currently manually having to enter the stage from the product stage enum. But let's say we're doing a create list or create sale from a listing, which we would have to end the listing, end all of the other listings. So end all listings, right? Because once it's a sale, all listings have to end. We would have to create the sale entry, obviously, and then update the current stage enum on the product for that product row. Now, could we not just pass the product into as a parameter to the product stage history model and then inherit from product the current stage and have it be mapped to the product stage history? And so we don't have to manually put it in, but we actually just pass the object to get whatever that stage is and then make this entry. You can absolutely do design flow so the caller passes the product object to the history entry to derives the stage from the product at current stage, but the important distinction, I would not make the product stage history self-inherit dynamically map from product. That would create a traumatic environment. Product stage history records a snapshot of the stated point at the time. History row needs its own stage value because you don't want to. For example, product stage history and current stage sold. The product stage history is stage somehow dynamic. Okay. So we can have a method. That's a good idea. So let's create a method, a class method called define from product, right? Given a product, which is a product type, what we're going to do is return product stage history. We're going to create entry here. ID gets happen automatically. Product ID is equal to product.id stage equals to product.current stage. Stage entered at okay. So return this. We'll return a okay. So I think we can do this. Oh, so let's add a return type of stage history. Oh, but it has to be quoted. Oh, that's right. And then with the class method, we have to take class. Yeah. Class product. Did I UTC now? Okay. Would that work if you do a UTC now in the thing? You have to call the function physically, right? Yeah. Hmm. Let me see. What do you see now? That's a good recommendation. Okay. So now what we can do is take our sales router. So what we have to also do is we have to update the parent product status. We need to, there's a couple of things we need to do. Hold on. So we create the sale entry, right? We have to update the parent product current status. We need to end all listings. So we have to create the sale entry. So end all listings, right? We're gonna create a list. So we need to make a sale, we're gonna end all listings. Under parent product, right? We're gonna end all the listings under parent product. Okay. We are going to end the listing stage from product stage history for parent product. Right, so we need to end all the listings for the parent product. So our listings have a listing end, and we need to give them all a listing end time and a reason that this product sold, right? So we need to what we need to do actually, though, really quickly, is we need to specify that further. So we need to end all listings on the current product. What does that entail? Well, that entails setting for sold listing gets sold reason, unsold listings get other. What would be a better, like, so we have listing enums here, which is listing end reason, which is removed. We'll say sold, right? We'll say sold, sold let's ask. I'm gonna update my listing end reason because I have to, right? I need to end all of the listings under this parent product. So when I create a listing and I meet the case of listing status for the product.status, or product.current status of this current product under this API, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to end all of the listings on the parent product. I need to update all of the listings for the parent product. So I need to update the listing that sold to sold, and then I need to update the listings that didn't sell for this parent product to, I could update them to sold as well, but maybe I should update, I'm trying to think, should I also provide maybe a different enum, sold something else, like sold other listing, to signify that this listing, this product sold, but this was not the listing that sold it, without having to directly reference the sale object because the listing doesn't point to the sale. The sale points to the listing because the sale happens after the fact. I guess I could have them point to one another, but I don't really think I want that. I would distinguish the listing that actually generated the sale from the other listings that were closed because the product sold, but I would not call the other reason sold because that creates an ambiguity in your data. Customer bought it, closed because product was sold or elsewhere. Sold elsewhere. Okay. That's a good idea. So, sold. Right. Okay. I like that. Okay, nice. So we need to get all listings. Right? So we have the product row right here. We can just get current listings is equal to, right? We can just use the relationship that we have with that product row dot listings. Then we could say for listing in current listings, right? We're going to write a select statement. So we have, this is a list of listings, right? So, I mean, I guess we'd have a select statement, or an aim statement would be, so we need to update all of the listings. Update listing. For listing and current listing, statement equals update listing dot where, so this is the listing, right? Okay, so listing right. We're gonna get listing ID. We're gonna update. So how does the update work? I forgot. Where are you doing value? Okay, so you do values. And we're gonna do values of listing as listing end reason. So listing end is going to be the data dot This is sale create. So data dot, I guess whatever this time was, right? Sold at, right? Because that's going to be, we can just use the sold at as the current time to use, right? Let me go to the sale here. Sale create takes in a sold at, right? Period. So we'll take the sold at listing and reason. So what we're going to do is say if we're going to say this is going to be listing and reason is going to update to listing and reason is going to update to product stage history product stage, I mean. Okay, so values is listing and reason data dot sold at. Listing and reason is the product stage dot sold if listing dot ID is equal to data dot ID, else product stage dot sold elsewhere. So that will update, that'll create a statement. And then what we're going to do is database dot execute the following statement. Right, so execute the following statement. Okay. I think that's fine. That's what we did. Okay. So this is what ends all of our current listings. Right. So now we need to end the listing stage. Okay, so we took all the listings are updated and ended, and now we have sold. Okay, so now we can move on to creating the sale. No, we need to update the product status. So statement equals to update product dot where product dot ID is equal to data dot product ID Well, we already have the product row here actually, right? We selected this guy and got the product row. Maybe we don't, I don't know, we'll see. So we'll select, update this dot values. Right, we're gonna update the values and say that current status is equal to product stage dot sold. Your product stage which is sold, and listing has sold as well for listing, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. That makes sense. So this is going to be update the current status of parent product to product stage dot sold. Right? So update the current status of the parent product to product stage dot sold. Then we have end the stage listing from product stage history for the product parent, right? So we ended the listing there already. So the parent though has the most recent product stage history, right? So product row dot stage history, right? We'll say history is equal to this. I'll say if history, right, which this should have history, but we'll just say if history, right, we need to get the most recent value out of product stage history. But I guess it would be I guess we could call it dot sort, and it would be a lambda function x for every x value in this dot sorry, it'd be a product stage history value, which we have a created at value here. So we'll use the x dot created at value. To sort these. Oh, it's not a function, it's a method of this value. I'm not sure if I did that right. So if history and the listing. So if history, we would end the listing, right? New values of current stage history. We're just going to update this exited at. Exited at will equal to where's our timer? I thought we had a thing for a day that we're using. Oh shoot. My brain stopped working. Hey, what's going on, Ron? How's it going, you guys? Hey, Doug. So we have listing, current row listings. Data.sold at. Be our value. Or update the data.sold at equals to this. And then we're going to okay, so we will statement.execute this. Or sorry, database.execute. Statement. I'm going to create a history item, so be but we don't get, we update listing. We don't update the current status of product row. Yeah, we do. Product parent, product row. So I'm going to say product. Maybe I should actually say I'm trolling here. Very close, but there are a few important problems. You're using the wrong universe listening and reasoning. Oh, sorry. So, Right, that's good. Okay, we'll execute this statement. This history sorting is backwards. Sort mutates the list and returns none. Okay, so we'll actually go for find the bed. Use the okay. So instead of sorting this for history, we can do history is equal, or say recent history is equal to database dot scalar select product stage history dot where product stage history dot ID is equal to so this would be where product stage is equal to product ID, right? So product stage history has a product ID associated with it. And history where product stage history dot ID select join so maybe we should join the product stage history and the product together and get that one, or just get the most recent none one for that one. Yeah, so because you only have one at a time. So where product stage history dot ID is equal to product data dot product ID, and that'll give us the most recent row. So we want to do an and. So we want to do like a select, would it be a and underscore? And we'd probably take this. Oh, hold on, and opens up this. So it'll be select product stage history. So select, yeah, and product stage history. And what else? We want to do product stage history dot where. Oh, well, why'd you do that? Oh, so you can just make a call. Okay, you don't have to do this and. So select product stage history. dot where product stage history ID equals to product ID and comma product stage history dot exited at dot is none. Right, recent row history. If recent row history, just return or none, we're going to update okay. So recreate. So create the new product stage history, but we haven't updated this product row. Right, we would need to pass in from product database.execute results, a list of results. I think it's the product rows we're gonna have an issue with, right? Okay, right? Okay, so product stage dot listing. Hey, how's it going, Codiz? What's going on? Hey, Vatrix. Okay. So I'm going to take this product row dot listings. Take this, put this here. Right, we have end all activities for this listing row, right? So we have listing end equals to listing. Okay, so you can actually do that. We don't do the listing end reason, right? So listing dot end reason is equal to, so you can actually just update them here. Sorry, like you can actually just update them because this is actually the ORM row itself, right? So equals to the data dot sold out, right? And so you don't need to requery these values and statements because we already have these values, right? So we have if listing dot ID is equal to data dot listing ID, right? We're going to update the listing and reason equals to a listing and reason dot sold else, right? For ones that aren't going to be listing and reason is equal to listing reason dot sold elsewhere. Execute. So you don't even need to execute that because you're just updating the ORM values live. Wow, okay, cool. So you actually have the product row here. So let's do the current stage history. Current stage history. Database scalar project stage history where product ID equals is at none. Good, that's good. If recent stage history, we can just update this with the exited at, right? We can do current stage history dot exited at is equal to data dot sold at. You don't even need to update. Oh, that's cool. I like this. I didn't know you could do this with the relationships. Right? This is the current product row. Right, okay, so we do statement update products, we just do we just take the product row. The product stage history update is product stage history, create a new update that. So it'll product row dot current stage is equal to a product stage dot sold, right? Then we create the new stage history item. Cool, so you don't even have to query. That's really, really cool. Once you have the relationships down, you can get them all, right? Oh, sorry. So what we're gonna do is we're creating a new stage history here. New stage history is equal to product stage history, and then we're gonna have product ID right is gonna equal the product row dot ID. But I think we can just do new stage history, product stage history. Right, and I think that would be simple. So we do database stage history, right? Just commit all the changes we made and return sale, right? Now we need to create the sale. Right, and to create a sale, you have to give a listing ID, a sold at, and a sale price. Right, something like that. It'd be a new sale. But sale, if a sale create via data here. So create just has product ID, listing ID, sale price, sold at. Sales have a product as well. Sales not a product. Oh, I passed the product ID to Stu. Unique for only sale. Create as. Why did I need the product ID? Like, it just got data, which has listing ID. I guess I could have just done listing. I I'm gonna ask about this. Architecture and design question coming up. So our sale create, if you remember, for the sale create has a unique field parameter of the product ID, which the base model doesn't have for sale base. We have it on there because the front end needs to send the product ID in order for us to obtain the product row, because the sale has no reference of the product, just the listing does. Now I guess I could not do that and at this point fetch all listings rather than fetching the product row right off the jump, and then use the relationship of the product to the listings index of 0, or the first listing or whatever, right? Or I guess I could fetch the listing that corresponds to the listing ID for this sale, get the product ID off of that listing, right, and then query for that. But that would be, two queries for the database rather than just using the product ID and then using the relationship of the product row for all the listings. Yes, and I think your instinct is right. Keep product ID in the sale create. The fact that sale doesn't store product ID doesn't mean the create request shouldn't accept it. You're dealing with two different concerns. Database model, sale, listing, product, API command, sale create for this product using this listing. Those don't have the same identical fields. Your current approach is actually efficient. Your request contains sale, create, product ID, listing, create, sold at, product row. Now you have this, and you can just use all the relationships, right? You have all the nested tree. You need the product because your business operation is essential. Sell this product through the listing. Once you have the product, you need to verify its current stage, get all the listings and all listing marked. Winning listing sold, mark other listings sold elsewhere, transition the product to sold, close the current stage product, create sale, blah, blah, blah. Loading the product first is actually a very natural aggregate level operation. The alternative you described is you can instead only send the listing ID in the sale create, query the listing, listing.product ID, query the product, and then get product.listings. That's perfectly valid, but you're right, you're introducing an additional lookup purely to discover information you already know. And there's another issue. Your front end presumably already knows which product is being sold. If you're on the product page and click sell, the front end already has the product ID. There's no real benefit to making the back end rediscover the product through the listing. The more important architectural question is, sale has no product ID because it doesn't need one. That's good normalization. Nice. Why aren't you using AI? Speaking too soon, dude. Maybe watch the stream for a little bit. I'm literally reading off of a prompt I'm asking right now about architecture. I use AI in this way to get paragraphs and talk about my code, not get code. What's the project bear? I don't know. Is that for like obsession reference or something? Goat trophy? What's goat trophy? Like, thanks so much, Genesis. Hey man, I'm just asking. I'm college on for a new student. I'm buying any e-commerce. Any tips? That's a pretty broad question, my dude. Oh, sent goat trophy for 1,000 joules. Oh, thank you, dude. Thank you, man. I didn't realize what that was. There's it's like a sticker or something that you can send. Thank you so much, Janice. I appreciate you so much. Shout out you, Janice. Shout out. Janice. All right, cool. Leave a like on the stream if you guys are enjoying it so far. Okay, we'll leave it at that. Okay, so I'm going to take my create sale function and I'll see if this is what we're looking after. History is wrong. Select product, stage history, where product stage ID, product ID, or stage exit is. It needs to be. Oh, wait, the product ID. All right, we're looking for the product ID of the product stage history, right? Not the ID of that entry, right? Yeah, that makes sense. I don't add the sale to the session. Oh, whoops. Database dot add the new sale to the session. That should cover that one. So I'll say listing ID sold at sale price. Right, and so that's all we need to make a sale, right? Listing ID sold at sale price. Yep. Cool. And let's just return the new sale. Then let's clean up these a little bit. Product stage dot inventory. Product stage dot sold. Product stage dot return pending. Product stage dot archived. Nice. And then we need to refresh, right, the database to, and then return the new sale so that the database has a reflection of the new sale when it gets this new sale. I think it looks good. Yeah, Swappy, we code. Thank you for being here, you guys. My name is Michael. I have a degree in human biology and a minor in chemistry. I worked as a formulation chemist for over 4 years where I taught myself how to code on the job. And through the live stream here, I wrote code for my last team where I automated like chemical matrix formulations for chemical blends to make like large batch serums for clinical diagnostic controls and patient diagnostics and stuff. I took that knowledge and transferred to a different team in a different city in the same company for a cancer research lab where I kind of run and I do a lot of more admin work for like the lab and kind of functionality of the lab and keeping it going. And I've been kind of trying to see how to level up my programming skills into building bigger projects, more larger architecture style projects. I'd like to be a dev maybe one day, but I don't know. I don't think I have the skills enough for it. I don't know. I just have imposter syndrome and have never met a dev in person besides myself. So that does like what I do. So I don't know. I don't get out of the room much. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know your guys' background. Are you guys CS majors? Are you guys working professionals? Or what you guys up to? Appreciate you guys being here. Oh, nice, Swappy. Appreciate you being here. Yeah, so I found opportunities at my work where like we really needed a lot better data automation techniques and solving a lot more of our chemical formulation automatically because I was having to do it by hand, and I didn't like doing the advanced chemistry math by hand that I had to learn in college and then use in the field and stuff. So I was like, I'm not going to do that anymore. Um, let's go ahead, and there's a lot of like interpreting, kind of like guessing, like where, like my goal was to try to like, okay, you have a bunch of serum. Hey, kitty, she's hungry. I gotta feed her. Hold on. I have a bunch of serums. I need to pick out which serums I want to blend together to A, hit like a certain volume, and B, hit like a very large suite of concentrations for like analytical ranges like protein, cholesterols, various other enzymes, and things like that. Kind of like cancer markers, all those jazz. So I built a very like dynamic, um, you know, kind of a software program in Python using linear programming and like linear algebra and stuff to optimize this blend. You give it your serums and your characterizations of your serums for those analytes, and it gives you the best possible combination for those, giving like a first exploration, first out perspective for like the chem stores lots. Um, it works across many different products, and that like a lot of different products use the same kind of math formulation but just have varying suites or analytical suites that they would test for. So you can just use a JSON object or a Python dictionary to just plug it in, and it would parse it and extract the information with your ranges, and you can solve for it pretty easily. It was multi-level, so like a lower and a higher concentrated that balanced off of one another and found the blend that worked for both considerations, and you could do it in the single either or format. It's a pretty cool piece of software, and I actually I don't know if it's an award or whatever, but like I submitted the software idea and like completion of the software to like an innovation conference for my work. I work for a large biotech company, and it was like they're having a West Coast innovation conference for R&D development, and I submitted a abstract detailing my algorithm, and I was actually selected. I haven't really announced this. I was actually selected to present at the conference for like a booth. So they selected a group of people that submitted these innovation abstracts that have like business impact, and we have to make like a poster board, and we each get like a booth throughout the session, and it'll be like this kind of conference that people will come and walk through and get to know your what you did, and like it's a pretty cool like accolade, I guess. That's coming, like that's in a few months. I have to start building my poster board. I got to take some time at work to start doing that, but pretty cool, right? Like it just goes to show you that, teaching yourself to code isn't in vain. You can find opportunities in the field, in the working corporate lifestyle, biotech, and things that don't implement code, that you can find opportunities to implement code and build cool applications to like solve really cool problems for your work. And if that's something that you're wanting to do, I mean, I'm 27. I've been able to kind of project myself in a few promotions now. I, recently just purchased a house. So let that be kind of, I guess, maybe some food for thought about like, wanting to teach yourself new things, hard work, pushing for new skills, to implementing them and pitching them to putting yourself out there. It comes, hard work can pay off. I'll say something. Now, I would like to become like an official developer, but I don't want to do leak code. Oh, I'm done solving leak code problems. I've already did 100 of those boys, and I'm not. I like building these projects, stock market projects, option predictors projects, chemical simulators, biology simulations. Like I like doing those kinds of things, not leak code. Oh gosh. I'm trying to learn how to use Godot and learn how to code on my own, though I might take a trade and see if I was able to take a course. Nice, dude. Yeah, I have a Discord link down below if anybody's trying to teach themselves to code and wanting to like learn some new things. I have a free Discord down below, so check it out. Okay, so I think that is solid. Now I'm gonna ask one more question here. Within this service API, within this API layer, we're kind of mimicking a lot of other API functionalities, such as create uh, product stage history or update product stage. Like we are kind of mimicking a lot of CRUD actions without abstracting them into their own functions. Is this a good opportunity for us to do that? Or should we keep the distinctions in like this sequential stepwise fashion, not in functionality? Yes, this is exactly the point where I start extracting the repeated business operations, but not into generic CRUD functions. That's the important distinction. Right now, you create sales doing several different jobs: validate product state, end listings, close, currents, blah, 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 blah. Those are business operations, not really CRUD operations. I would abstract the operations that represent meaningful domain actions while keeping the sequential workflow inside create sale. Instead of having this directly inside your endpoint, current stage equals blah, 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 product stage was sold, you could have different functions, such as transition product stage. Now, should these functions be class methods tied to the tables in which they're doing the updates and transitionings for? Not necessarily. For your particular functions that separate model behavior from your business workflow. If the operation describes what one model is capable of doing to itself, my model class method can make sense. If it coordinates multiple models, put it in a service. For your inventory system, that distinction is pretty clear. Products is good, blah, blah, blah. Product transition state is potentially a model method. You can make sense because you're changing the state of the product, but there's a catch. Your transition also needs to modify product stage history. Once the operation becomes a multi-step process, now you're coordinating two tables, therefore it lead towards a service function. Okay, so let's do this. Let's take a class method. And let's do, so at class method, if you guys aren't familiar with what class methods are in Python, they're just methods tied to a class that you don't need an instance of a class. You can call it on the actual class itself, the imported class object, not the instance of an object, right? And it takes in a CLS as its first parameter. So define would be like, this would be like maybe like update stage history or something like maybe transition stage, right? And you would take in a product or a stage, right, which would be a product stage enum. And sorry, I didn't do my own thing. We're taking CLS here. See, we can access attributes at the class level by accessing this, but we don't really have a purpose for that here. So, but we just have it there for syntax sake. So what we'll do is we will say product. Oh, this would be actually, this is an instance method, so this is not a class method. This is a just an instance method on this bad boy of self, right? Stage. Oh. Actually, for a transition stage method within the product class, I'm pretty torn on whether to use a class method or an instance method because you're actually updating the stage of the row itself, which could be a nice, simple way to just transition the state from a method internally on the instance. But also, we could use the product class as a wrapper for the class to call on it, like we are for the other one. I would use an instance method for products in transition stage. Distinction is pretty straightforward. This particular product is turn stage. Yeah. So it's a self product stage. and then we'll do self dot current stage is equal to product stage, right? Sorry, stage, which is of type product stage. So now we can have like a services, or we have this helper funcs, which isn't really what we want. We want like a services directory. So services is going to go into server. And inside services, we're going to have product, I guess services.py. And I guess we'll have a function here called, right, it would be like create new, okay, we'll just make this transition product stage, right? So transition product stage is a function, and transition product stage has to take in the product, right? Because we have to transition the product stage, and then we also need to take in and create a product stage and return said stage. So we'll say before stage, or so we'll say current. We'll say so product, which is a product instance from our table, right? We take in a product and we add transition product stage sale, right? So product, and then it would be this would be the table of the product stage history. Right, we're gonna do this. Right, product stage. Yeah, this is a project I'm working on. Me and my girlfriend, we own a vintage clothing site where we resell vintage clothing at a nice, affordable price. Try to be affordable rather than a scalper, and try to get you guys nice vintage clothing at a good rate. And we're just building out. I've been building out this site, trying to provide us more centralized functionality and better just KPI tracking and run the business basically. So product stage. So you're gonna move this to sale actually. So you just need the product, right? So you would do I guess you would take the product and make sure you update the product stage and then create a new stage history. It would kind of be all of our functionality from the sales router here, right? So it creates a new sale. It does this right here, right? So you would get the product here. So yeah, it'd be all of this basically. And this ends current stage, and this gets listings. So we have product row here. We could call the function here, given the product row, do over listings, transition all the listings. But then we would have to call the database and do the database save on the current stage history. Okay, so we should do, we'll do it here. So we have the current stage history and the current product. Yeah, okay, I think so. So we have the product and we'd have the current stage history, which is the product stage history object row, right? And then what we would do is we would do all of this down until we got a new stage history. Here. So we'd say if current stage history, current stage history.exit at equals to data.sold at. I guess you'd have to provide a sold at, right, which is a date time. Right, you would create the new row. So product.current stage equals to product stage sold. You'd update the new product stage history. Update the product current stage with sold. Create the sale entry. Current stage history. Create the new product stage history entry. Product. New stage history. And then return new stage history. So we'll return a tuple of those two objects. Okay. Um, I have notepad here with my like things, and I write comments and stuff. Um, new routes is the route of the website app. Yeah, basically. The API routes. Newbie question: how does he apply all those code in the website he's working on? Is it the usually HTML, CSS, JavaScript? I'm using React, which is a framework of JavaScript. It combines um, JavaScript being able to create HTML, CSS components uh, with JavaScript functionality like all together. Nice, dude. Thanks for coming in, Song Kim. So we return a tuple of the product in the new stage history. So in sales router, what we'll do is we will call from server.services import transition product stage sale. So we'll pass in here product equals to the product row that we're working on, right? Product stage history, current stage history equals to current stage history, and then sold at equals to data.sold at. So we'll pass that function. I'm gonna go, we're gonna receive a tuple of the product row and current stage history, or sorry, new stage history. Yeah. We add new stage history, we create a new sale. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete data dot product. I'll go data copy equals to delete data I want to remove a key and copy that's all right. I was going to delete the data.product ID and do the sale creation. I would just do an insert of there. Well, we have a, hold on, let me go back to my product stage history creator. This does it automatically. From a product. So if I do from, maybe if I just do like from um, sale.create sale and pass in, I don't know, that's fine, I can just pass in stuff. Okay, so we do transition stage to sale, product stage. So this goes current stage history and gets the current stage history. So we have stage history router. Maybe I'll do get current stage history. Like this. Should this be its own API function? Like this, should this be its own API function? So just get current stage history under a stage history router. Or should I not be like nesting API calls internally? No, don't make an internal API call just to keep the current stage history. That's exactly where it's useful to distinguish an API endpoint from a function service operation. Okay. So maybe get current stage history, but you have to call database. But you use a session of database. So would the maybe the service function just takes in that database. Okay, I'm gonna call this product stage transition. Sale. Okay, and then we'll call this, we'll rename this function, this file to product transition state services. Product transition state services. Oh, stage, sorry, not state. Right, we'll import, there we go. And now what we'll do is we have this. So I'll make a new service. We have sales router. We have a service for getting current stage history. So we'll say stage history services. Right? And then we do define get current stage history, which takes in a database session from SQL Alchemy and would take in a product ID, which is a UUID. So from SQL Alchemy .orm import session from UUID import UUID. So what we would do is get the current stage history like we're doing here. So we take the product stage history where product stage history, you go data.product ID right here. Let's take this whole thing. Okay. Sorry. So return current stage history if current stage history, else none. So this will return a product stage history object or none. Okay, so I think that's what we need. Sales router. Right here, we're going to take current stage history is equal to a from server dot services dot product stage history services import product stage history. No. Okay, current stage history. Okay, there we go. So now that'll get current stage history. And then we need a function here for listings listing so this would take in sold listing. Why am I doing this, you might say? Well, I'm going to reuse all these service functions again in different parts of my program in these other routes, right? When I get listings or transition listing stages, maybe like to other areas or in other actions, I can reuse these function calls, right? So sold listing ID would be UUID here. We would need, right, you would have to give the listings themselves, which is a, right? Now I might make these listing stage transition and I might not make them sale. I might abstract it into a generic function and put a parameter as a match case condition for what we'll do and then insert the objects accordingly to the match cases. But you gave me the urge to study. Nice, dude. Are you modifying product roles with sold at timestamps? Yeah. But session is on sale. Oh, do I have it on two different imports? Select is in the ORM? No, select is not in SQL Alchemy ORM. Select is only in the default SQL Alchemy core. ORM is a separate module, if you've read the docs, that contains the ORM data, things like session and instances of like dialects and stuff. I'm about halfway through the docs on SQL Alchemy. They're pretty dense. So we'll do listing stage transitioning, the sold listing ID, and listings. So let's take this into listing stage transitions. I'll rename this to transition stage services or stage transition services. right? We'll make this stage transition services. Call a def on this. Ooh, what the hell? Okay, so sold listing ID is UUID. Listings is a list of listing. Should I just import all? Okay. So here, oh, we don't have product stage. Server.model should have enums imported, right? It's not actually in my models module, so it's not a model. It's an enum that's a field in a model. I should probably maybe make it its own enum, like object or directory. Wait, I'm trolling. I don't need to do that, I don't think. Alright, cool. So listing stage transition sale. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna do our helper services. We're gonna take 4 listing and listings here. I'll take this. Four listings and listings. For listing and listings if listing end date equals to data.sold at. Okay, that'll do that. Now what we can do is take this function and call it in our sales router listing stage transition sale, right? Listing stage transition sale, right? So now let's import this. So we need to pass the sold listing ID, which is listing listing ID. And then listings is so that will update the listings of all of those. Now I'm not doing anything with those listings. I'm not returning them or committing, am I? So you're gonna get current stage history. I don't think I need to return anything here, no? New stage history, current stage history, no. This just transitions the listings accordingly, right? I miss watching actual devs coding. Hey, thank you. I appreciate it, Aurelius. Thank you for calling me an actual dev. Thanks for the compliment, man. I appreciate that. What is project stage transition doing? Are you changing certain fields in the database row? Yeah, we are updating certain fields in the database row via the row instance here. Vibecoder vibing. I had an idea, AI idea. What if you wrote a little chatbot that follows what you're saying and reads the screen and follows? I know that'd be nice. Like I didn't have to, like, I thought that would be nice. Like I thought about that before, Jimmy. Like a bird, like a little bird on your shoulder, like a little, someone that's just watching your code and giving you like live suggestions. Like oh, like literally like a autocorrector, but on like to the max. Like oh, you literally are spelling that word wrong. Like in process, go you delete and spell the word right, or like no, it'd be able to be intuitive like that. Okay, let's keep it pushing. Okay, so we have stage sold here. Product stage transitions. I don't think we need to transition, or I don't think we need any return values off of this. We just transition this listings. Right? I really like this. It feels like you're going to be. Yeah, that's how I kind of like to do it, Leo. I kind of wanted to be like. A lot of people have problems like just setting aside time outside of work or school to just program and build something. So if you have a difficult time holding yourself accountable to committing and doing something, take the opportunity when I come on stream almost daily to just sit alongside me for 30 minutes or an hour and just get your homework done, get your coding done, get whatever it might be done. Just use this opportunity as like a dual study session. That's kind of what I wanted it to be. All right. I think that that's fine. I think we're good. I think that this function is solid. We got some good, we refactored and it looks really nice now. It wants the product row. It wants, Why would we pass product here? Oh, we need the sold at. Right, the sold at is going to be data.sold at. I don't need to pass the product as reference into this function if I don't have to. I can just pass the sold at right. Actually, I like this version more than passing the whole product because the function is more responsible as narrowed defined. Yeah, no dirt, dude. Right now, that's possible. One thing I would add, I'd make the function validate that the sold listing actually exists in the supplied listings. Oh. Hmm. So like if you don't find found sold listing, okay, we'll just say sold listing ID. I'm gonna go product. Let's actually give the product here. Right? Let's give the product and do product dot listings. And then we can remove the sold at. We actually have to keep the sold at. Like this. This is better than API business logic because the function now owns the relationship. Given this product and its listings and identify the listing that actually sold, but I would make two changes. Product.listing versus product.listings. Yeah. Don't mutate the listings before validating the sold. Oh, you want to find the full listing first, not found, return false. Found at all listing and all listings. So you have to do O of n, O2n approach. So if listing ID equals to listing sold listing ID, we say, oh, hold on. If listing found sold, so if not found sold listing, I want to return here. So we'd say for listings in product.listings, listing.listing n equals to sold at. You would validate it again, I guess. I don't really like this one. So I guess you would need to return true here if you get the Boolean. And you don't even need to do it, you can break here to short circuit it out, right? What do bits do? I think that bits are like it's like donation stuff. For listing in product.listings, listing ID equals sold listing ID. Found listing, true, break. If not found listing, return false for listing is sold product.listing and product.listings. Listing ID sold, else return true. Nice. Looks good. That looks good. So now our sales router is going to take listing stage transition sale and get the sold listing, the product, and the sold at. So the listing ID, the product row, and the data sold at. We say if we say if not this, the detail, what's this detail going to be? So if you don't find so maybe I should actually make it so that stage transition services tries to do this, and if it doesn't, it raises a value error. Would it be better to make it raise a value error rather than returning false? Yeah. So let's try to do this. Right? Right, so it would be like, oh, sorry, I'm being dumb. Not a try. So we'd say found sold listing, right, false. Do this, break. We'd say if not found sold listing, we would raise a value error here, right? And we would say like, right, is not, does not. What would be that error? right? Something like that. DeepSeek Flash is so cheap it probably only costs like 0.01 or 2 cents per stream. I know, Jimmy. Should we do it together? Hit me up on Discord if you want to build it with me, Jimmy. We can do it together off stream. Maybe we can do it on stream. We'll come out with our own AI project and we'll get famous. We'll get rich and famous, Jimmy. I really like it. Feels like, oh yeah, I felt that one. If you guys could like the stream, if you guys are enjoying it, we got 27 people in here. If you guys could hit the YouTube, it has a new like hype. You can hype videos now. So if you guys could hit that, that'd be really nice. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. My name's Michael. I'm 27 years old. Got a degree in human biology and a minor in chemistry, and I work as a chemist or microbiologist. Yeah, I guess now it's like a biochemist. It's the official title. Like, I know, I was in manufacturing chemistry. Now I'm in like cancer research and microbiology. Same company, just two different labs. Going good so far. Taught myself how to code for a little over 2 years now from scratch. Recorded everything live here on stream. Join my Discord down below if you're interested, and I appreciate you guys being here and hanging out with me so far. So yeah, I've taught myself how to code from the ground up from scratch. There's no hype button. Oh shoot, I thought there was. Okay. How do you know all this stuff? Have you given up on C? No, I want to keep going on C. I just don't really have anything to write in it. I just don't really know, like, I don't really have anything to build that I, like, want to keep going on. Like, I like building more full stack stuff, and I just don't think I'm good enough, like, computer science core, or, like, not, like, you know, memory knowledge. I'm okay at memory management, and I know the basics of it. I haven't really done much of it, but, like, you know, I need to get better at, like, probably, honestly, probably just like working like maybe at the assembler level and like registrars and like, you know, that probably would help. And I don't know. How do you know all this stuff? I just read a lot of books and I stream a lot, almost every single day. I don't really play video games anymore. I don't really, unfortunately, have like no social life. Good stream. You inspired me to hand build a little project this evening. I was thinking of just delegating to an agent. Nice, James. Good job, man. How long do you practice a day? With full-time work, what's your schedule usually like? I get to work around 8 o'clock. I only live about 10 minutes away, thank goodness. Beforehand, when I was streaming when I was in my last job and streaming, it would take me like an hour to get home from work. So this new place, my new house, we bought a new house, and I transferred jobs into a smaller market, same company but smaller market, and I was able to buy a house and, you know, have a little bit more work-life balance. But I get to work at 8. I leave at 4. I get home from work at around 4:15. I'll eat, hang out with my dog, chill. I'll hop on streaming around like 5 now. I'll stream until 5 to like, you know, 7 or 5 to like, you know, 5:30 or to 7 or 6 to 8 or something like that, and I'll get off and rinse and repeat. But beforehand, I was getting on at 7 o'clock every day, going until about 9 o'clock. When I worked as a formulation chemist, I just had longer hours and a lot longer commute, hour each way. The Bay Area was just too much traffic. Now we are able to go to a smaller market, no traffic, able to actually get a house. Things are looking up. But we did have to give up on the dream of the Bay Area dev, though. I did want to, like, you know, maybe try to become a software engineer in the Bay Area, but like I got weeded out, dude. I couldn't handle the cost of living. Like I didn't get weeded out. Like I was managing just fine. I was saving money, whatever, but I got burnt out on realizing I could have been saving a lot more had I just, and I didn't need to pay rent anymore. I could have had a house if I just went to a smaller market. Like I was, you know, I didn't need to be as frugal anymore, right? I was really frugal, like back, you know, when we were living in the old apartment. You know, I didn't do anything, go anywhere, do nothing, like spend money at all. Like I was just saving, stacking, investing. In the Discord we have the stocks channel. We had we have some pretty good plays. I got a pretty good hit. I think I've got I beat the S&P in 2024. I beat it again in 2025, and I'm not beating it right now. Um, but we did beat it those last 2 years, which was nice. And then I hit on Palantir earnings. This last earnings play, I hit on Micron. I bought the Micron dip at below 900. I bought Micron back at $80 though. I hit on Robinhood. I bought Robinhood at like $16. I hit on Cheesecake Factory. I hit on Macy's. I hit on Gap. I hit on. We had some nice plays there in the stocks chat. I haven't given many plays lately because I haven't been as invested, but I've been more conservative. I just joined. What's happening? This is cool, man. I started learning coding. Awesome, Jen. I'm currently stuck dealing with so many projects. I need to finish them. I'm starting to doubt I'll even be able to play my games and have some fun. I know I'm right there too, dude. I have so many open projects from C books that we're like in the middle of. We haven't even gone back and looked at our deep learning lectures. We need to keep going before we forget all about tensors. Facts. Learning registers and what they're actually doing under the hood is great for a way to expand on C. I'm currently using the book Computer Systems and Programs Perspective. Yeah, I read the first, I think, 2 chapters of that book. I read it on my lunch break for a couple of times at work. The first 2 chapters are pretty review on like bits and stuff, and so I kind of just got through those pretty quick. Yeah, this is front end and back end. We've been doing both the whole time here. I've been playing a lot of games. What games do you guys like to play? I've been the only game I really play is League of Legends and some Switch games, but I'm really kind of phasing out of competitive games. Like competitive gaming, in my opinion, is kind of dying. Hard take, but I don't know. I just don't think it hits as hard as it used to. Like it's just, you can only play team deathmatch so many times and like just shoot the same guns and anyway. Okay, so we're good on this now. So we have listing stage transition. Our services. I'm gonna get rid of this. Keep clicking on this one. All right, stage transition, and then we have the sales router, which calls this. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to run this function, except for a value error. We will catch said value error that we are raising, and we will raise, we'll say as E, right? The var as E, and we'll detail the error here in the detail. We'll say error creating sale right here. There you go. So that'll do that. Nice. All right. Now, what we need to do is we have the ability to create listings, right? But what we need to do now is do the mark sold and have a forum for marking items sold, right? I think I'm going to commit the code here, though. We have quite a bit that we've got going on. Let's get out here. Follow me on GitHub if you're not, link down below. I've got a lot of great projects you can look at and use as examples if you're looking for nice starter projects. Got a lot of great, nice STEM projects. I've got personal, really detailed notes with screenshots from the actual text from the books I've read live on stream. Practice problems, tons and tons of practice problems from those chapters, you guys. If you guys are looking for practice problems with answers, I have them all in my Discord. So we did, this is going to be create sale and services. Also, if you guys are looking for more projects, like looking for projects, I'm partnered with Code Crafters. Link down in the description. You can make a free account if you want to upgrade. Feel free, but I'm partnered with Code Crafters, and you can you build X project from scratch, and it gives you detailed instructions on how to build a shell HTTP server in your language of choice: C, Python, Go, whatever, Java. And you can use my affiliate link down below to make an account, a free one, and feel free to upgrade if you would like. But you can make a free one and use the free rotating projects. Hey Guppy, what's going on, dude? Welcome back, dude. It's good to hear from you again. Are you doing this to work on projects or learning? I'm learning while I'm working on projects. We've been and have done a lot of book and like nose to the book and notes and studying practice problems. And I figured that at this point I'm really kind of burning out of like the book learning, and I really want to like build something. And I wanted to build something more complex architecture wise, rather than just like a simple CRUD app. Like this is a CRUD app, but it has a pretty nice architecture for how we're handling all of these object model relations in our database, and how we are using like a audit log history for mapping status or like state transitions between each of these models as we flow a product through different states. And so I created this architecture as well as like this dynamic sizing architecture, which is pretty cool. So if I go to my seed runner here, you can see that we have these prefixed like seed like database seeding options, which is really nice. So I have it set up. I designed I took a lot of time to think it through because I did not want to come back through and have to edit things and change things. If I wanted to, I designed it to a way we can just insert sizing data, categories, and clothing types data just into these simple data structures and have them parsed and read automatically into our related database tables. And then if we ever want to add more later on, rather than having, we can physically add them through the create product field, right? Create product, this has the creatable search fields, right? For these two options. But, and then these options dynamically change based on the field selection. So look, like you do bottoms, you get two sizing options for waist and inseam, versus like shoes just gets a primary size of these types of sizing. So you have like sizing types of numeric versus alpha. Like you have these kind of different key value data structure relations to give you the nested sizings like related, right? So it's more than just like a simple CRUD. We have a pretty nice dynamic architecture here for sizing, branding, clothing type, to give you a well-rounded kind of data. Should have made it all just if-else statements. I know that's what I was trying to avoid, Jimmy. That's what I was trying to avoid. What's your current stack? Python and React. That's all I pretty much program in. And C. This project is great for ecom. Yeah, it's a great ecom project, and maybe like it would be cool to like if I ever got a shot to like interview for like a Shopify or like a Depop or something, but like I don't want to solve leak code problems. I don't. I'm sorry. I like doing this kind of stuff. Talk to me about different database architectures and how I came up with my idea and like what pain points I didn't want, and like those project stuff, not just trivial algos that I'll never use like hardly, and like I don't know. Okay, so what else? Yeah, we're ready to create a sale, right? We also need to update the CRUD services for creating a product, right? When you create a product, we need to have our create product create an instance of a product stage history, right? So we need to add those in. So let's go to our notes here, our feature notes. I already did this one, so let's do it here. Add um, add stage history services for product create and listing create. Okay. Yeah, I use fast API. We already are pretty deep in the project, my man. All right, you guys, thanks so much for joining me today. I think I'm going to call it. I know we have a lot of people here today, but I'm hungry and I've been streaming for over almost 2.5 hours after my 9 to 5 job. So we did a lot of, though, in that 2.5 hours. We abstracted out into some transitions. The transitions into their own like state service functions here. We converted over. We converted the sales router. The sales router now has the ability. We finished this the section here for actually creating a sale and transitioning all of the relational parameters of necessary tables to the correct states and creating the actual sale. So tomorrow what we'll do is we'll work on the instance where you actually, so this is our page here, right? Let's go to the home page. This is our page here, right? This is our admin page. So when you click on an actual item here, you have the listings for the product, the sales, and the returns. What we need to do is we have the ability to create a listing, right? We need to insert the state transitionings for the listing, and then also finish this mark sold form, which will display sales into this field. And then we will do a mark return, which will display returns, and yada, yada, yada. All right. Cool. Thanks so much for going with me, you guys. I appreciate you. See you tomorrow. Please subscribe if you want to hang out with me again, where you can code alongside me or just hang out and learn and hang. Appreciate you guys being here. Sellers could do listings in this brother in the future. All right, guys. Peace out tomorrow. Peace out. Or peace out. See you tomorrow. Peace out tomorrow. Later.